Hi, everybody. It's Denise with Divine Soul Astrology. Today we are talking about the Aries full moon. It is on October the 6th, just in a few days. It's at 14 degrees of Aries, and this is going to be a harvest moon, this full moon. So the full moons are endings and new beginnings. They're culminations, right? We have the full moon. We always have the sun opposite of the full moon, and they are trying to kind of merge energies in order to make things better or to create some sort of balance with the opposition. Now, Aries is about new beginnings. It's about having the courage. It's about taking the leap of faith. It's about doing whatever you want and not caring about what anybody else thinks. Yeah. It can be very dynamic, strong, strong-willed. It is assertive. It can be aggressive. Aries is about passion and drive and courage. And, the downside of that or the lower side of that would be anger. Yeah, anger and fighting and war even, right? So today we're not talking about political events. No, we're not. But yeah, that's what it can be about. And so that's what we have for Aries. Now since we're having a full moon, this Aries full moon can be a culmination of any two it can be the culmination of the last new moon in Aries, which was in March, earlier of this year, and also last year, either in March or April, okay, when the new moon came. But I believe it's in March. Yeah, they're always the new moons in Aries are at the end of March, around the 22nd. And so this can be a culmination of whatever you were starting, whatever you were planting, whatever seeds you were planting at the time, and try to think back about what you were doing last either this spring, right? Or at the time of the new moon, around the end of March, I believe it was. And then same thing for last year, because I know that what was going on in my life has definitely culminated today, and things are going well. Yeah, it was a little bit of a a little bit of a hard time, I have to say. um, and so Aries is about passion. It can be about sex. It is sometimes it's about cars. Um, and it is definitely about asserting itself. It's a very physical sign, right? It is a fire sign. And it's, represented by the ram. Now, Aries wants to break out and do brand new things, and it doesn't usually think about it. It's very impulsive, right? Just much like the Fool, if you guys know the Fool in tarot, right? It just breaks out and says, I'm excited about this. I like it. I can do it, and I'm going to go for it. It's a cardinal sign, so it is a sign that is of new beginnings, right? So let's look at a little bit here in the intro before we get to the 12 signs. We're going to talk about the other astrology that is affecting the full moon as well. And so here I have the chart up, and here's Aries, right? The natural chart always starts with Aries. So this is basically how we do the horoscopes. I think I've explained it before, but in case you're new watching, when we're doing the horoscopes, we go by sun, moon, or rising. And so if your sun sign is Aries or your moon sign is Aries, especially your rising and sun is Aries, then we will count forward, right, to, talk about these planets that are in the signs and that are in the houses, rather. Yeah. So let's see. And the sun is in Libra right now, so that is, important, right? Because as I said, this is always an axis, the full moon. The sun in Libra is about our relationships. It's about how we relate to others. It can be about court cases. It can also be about open enemies, anything that is kind of open, because Libra wants to create balance and harmony. And so both sides can be open, basically. So the sun is there, and that is the focus right now. It's a very social time. Libra is about, it is about involved relationships. It can be love, business, or friendship, but it is about attached relationships in some way. And then we have the full moon across. So as I said, there's usually some type of merging that needs to take place when we have the full moon. So the full moon can also reveal to us things, can secrets can come out. Sometimes things that we didn't know about ourselves um, can be illuminated at the time of the moon, because the moon is of a subjective nature, of an emotional nature. So things can come to light that that maybe were hidden before, that can sometimes be can hit us kind of intensely or very emotionally. So here we have Mercury, and Mercury is very important. It sure is. And Mercury is in Scorpio at this time. So Mercury in Scorpio, it can talk about everything that we're able to see that maybe we were not able to see before. A lot of astrologers are have Mercury in Scorpio. I know I have this placement. It's about wanting to see what is hidden, or the occult, right? And so Mercury is the mind. And so when we have Mercury in Scorpio, this can be the psychological mind as well. But it is looking at deep issues. That is one of many descriptions, right, or embodiments of this placement. But this is about wanting to see what is hidden, right? What else was left out? Did they leave anything else out? Is there something I can find on this? Detectives often have, in fact, my friend who is a Sag, she has the same placement, Mercury in Scorpio, and she is a detective, right? And yeah, for a huge company. So we have Mercury in Scorpio, and this is people understanding really. It can be dark issues. It can be understanding what's been hidden. Perhaps there can be lies sometimes when we have that are exposed with Mercury in Scorpio. But it can be using the psychological mind and the practical mind and the intuitive mind as well together, and that's really what it is. So here with Mercury, Mercury enters Scorpio the same day, entering today, the day of the full moon, which is October the 6th, right? Mercury will be at 0 degrees, and here's Mercury. He always looks like the little student to me, like he's wearing a little cap, right? And here he is, and he's at 0 degrees of Mercury. So Mercury in Scorpio is very curious. Mercury is already curious enough. And Mercury in Scorpio can be somebody digging very deep into possibly matters of the past. Scorpio does relate to life and death transformation. So it can be about that. And this can be about looking at very intense matters, because Scorpio is also intense. And this, interesting with Mercury and Scorpio, this can be really looking at your intimate relationship as well. And, asking yourself if it is working, right? Mercury always is asking, especially in Scorpio, asking the questions. Yeah, why? Why is that, right? Scorpio likes to ask why anyway. But with Mercury there, it's kind of a doubling up of that. And this is all happening in Libra season, right? Which is quite interesting, because Scorpio does represent intimate relationships. And so now we have Venus will enter Libra on the 13th. Is that correct? I feel like it is. Where's Venus at? Venus is now in it's still in Virgo. Yeah, it is in Virgo, and it's going to be entering Libra. I hope I didn't say Scorpio, but it's going to enter its home sign, right? Venus rules Libra, so it's very at home there. On the 13th of the month, it'll be at 0 degrees, and Venus, that should really be a time of, mild or kind of harmonious relationships, right? At least for some, for sure, depending on the rest of the chart, right? Because that's what that is. That's what that means. And also on October the 3rd, Pluto will go direct at 1 degrees in Aquarius. So Pluto is right here, and it is retrograde. In fact, all these planets here are retrograde, including, so we have Chiron, which is, an asteroid, and then we have Ceres, and that is about the harvest and the food and things like that. That is retrograde. We have Neptune retrograde, Saturn retrograde, and the North Node, the lunar node, is retrograde, right? And Jupiter is direct. Uranus is also retrograde. This can be a time of kind of Excuse me, fall is a time to rest a little bit, right? A time to harvest what we have worked on all year. And all these planets are retrograde in order for us to kind of take a step back and look at, what we've done so far this year or what we've done so far, right? Mm-hmm. Where is that North Node? Yeah, it is retrograde. Okay, and here's the South Node, and that is the nodal axis here, which is very important right now. I feel like it is because here we have it conjunct Saturn, and this is um, conjunct Saturn, and then Saturn is in a way it is because this is also all about our true potential, but it's conjunct Saturn. Saturn is conjunct Neptune in Aries, so that's where the full moon is happening. So um, we have a stellium, sort of, because we don't really have this is a satellite or an asteroid, Chiron, and then the nodes are not included in a stellium, but we have lots of luminaries here. We do. All right, so that is a bit powerful in itself. All right, so the moon in Aries is opposite the sun in Libra at 14 degrees. I feel like I mentioned that. And this also talks about not compromising our needs when we have the sun in Libra opposing the moon in Aries. And this axis itself, Aries is about the self and Libra is about the other or the relationship. So there is a merging here that needs to take place. And that could be interesting enough when we have the full moon, or the full moon in Aries, we're always going to have the sun in Libra. And so there is definitely, this can be a time where people are really looking at their relationships. Yeah, very interesting. Looking at them and saying, are they working? And this aspect, this opposition is asking, am I giving up my own needs? Because something has to be done here. Something needs to be merged, right? This is a bit challenging, an opposition, and it does create change. So yeah, am I giving up my own needs? And Libra often, Libra can do that sometimes because Libra is the sign of harmony and balance, and that is what they are seeking to achieve. All right. And so, yeah, we have all these retrogrades. Okay, so let's talk a little bit before we get into Aries itself, before we start with the first sign. We'll look at the moon, and the moon is right here, and it is trining the IC. The IC is here. So, this is setting the stage for more nurturing. It is. The moon is about nurturing. Leo is the IC is about home and family as well. It's in Leo. Leo is about love and expression. And somebody here, this is really about somebody wanting to, with the trine, that's going to happen easily. So this is about somebody just being, or, the collective, or if you have displacement, or if this is, but this is really about um, us expressing our love, right? And being very authentic about it. Yes. And so now we have the moon trining Vesta, and Vesta is about what we're dedicated to. Here is Vesta, it's in Sagittarius. Vesta and Sagittarius can talk about, I'm really kind of dedicated to, traveling and learning. It can also be I'm kind of dedicated to my own philosophy and how my beliefs and how I look at the world. So here we have that trine, and that is making it quite easy to happen. It is, and this can be a fiery, emotional energy and even impulsive, um, because Vesta is devotion toward Sagittarius, toward Sagittarius's need for self-discovery, and for exploring new philosophies. So this can be emotional. It definitely can be. Vesta and Sagittarius wants to approach life adventurously. Yeah, that is what they are committed to doing, basically, or what they are really dedicated. Like what makes them kind of happy. Yeah, what does. And so Vesta and Sagittarius wants to approach life free-spirited. Um, Yeah, free-spirited, and also and with inner purpose, like fulfilling inner purpose, because that's what Sagittarius is about. Sagittarius is about, exploring um exploring things of adventure, but things of meaning. Yeah, and mhm. Um and so, yeah, this is a commitment to personal truth, as Sagittarius is always about a commitment to personal truth about what makes them, what's meaningful in our lives, right? There's an intensity and a mystery because we have Lilith here, little black moon Lilith, and in Scorpio is often rebellious. Yes, and so at the least very independent. This has all happened now. We're in Scorpio here, and we can be drawn to the occult. We can especially when we have Mercury with Black Moon Lilith, we can be definitely drawn to the occult because Mercury is always curious. All right, or the taboo, or what is hidden, and we could feel transformed in Scorpio. We may feel transformed, and there can be an intense motivation and a drive to achieve our goals here. Um, mhm. And our desires. Yet sometimes this can lead to obsession and power struggles. All right, so this is what Mars in Scorpio can be about power struggles as well. Taking action as to what's very emotional or intense for you. This can be transformation as well. This can be also, Scorpio does represent intimate relationships. So this can be very sexual and passionate as well. With the Black Moon Lilith in the way, it looks like this can describe as well that somebody feels kind of there's something they meant like the shadow side of themselves is not fully expressing themselves, not letting them. That can talk about that here because it is blocking both. Mercury is about communication, and Mars is about your free will. And so Black Moon Lilith is here. This can also be saying, especially in Scorpio, right? Scorpio can talk about the shadow side as Black Moon Lilith. So this can be, um, work on your shadow side, or there's a need for an understanding of ourselves, right? What's not maybe, perceived imperfections, or what we might think that maybe what we don't like about ourselves, or how we don't conform to society and things like that. But this is about understanding the shadow side and accepting it and living fully and not being hindered by the shadow side. There's no need for that to hinder us, but we have to understand it and confront it. All right, and so yeah, and this energy here with Black Moon Lilith and in Scorpio here, this can push us to confront our fears, to do that, right? To live fully and to see the shadow and accept it and move on. Basically, here we have the full moon in Aries. Aries wants to move on. Aries wants to keep going. Aries does not want to stop. All right, so let's talk about Aries now. And Aries, the whole intro was for you. It really was. But now we're going to talk about these specific aspects that are aspecting you, or that may be challenging you, that may be supporting you, etc. So here we have your natal Mars moved into Scorpio on the 22nd. So Mars is ruling your first house and your eighth house of intimate relationships, transformation, shared monies. Shared monies can be, with a partner, but this can be your 401k, things like that, stocks, real estate, that is also shared monies, and things like that. So we have Mars moving into Scorpio in your eighth house. And this is also your house, the house of the occult, right? Maybe you want to learn about that, possibly. You could simply be seeing a lot of things intuitively that you were never able to see in the past. We are coming to Halloween, right, this month. So here in the Northern Hemisphere, there's a reason why Halloween is in October. There is, and I don't remember the exact story, but nothing's random. It's all set up. Yeah, it is. No, nothing's random, either by the universe or by man. And I would say that's probably, maybe it's a combo, right? Maybe. Maybe it's a combination there. So now we have, yeah, and this Mars is in your house of deep psychology. This is, the hidden and, and the psyche and the unconscious mind as well. And so this is also about secrets, power, and doubts and fears. So there can be, I was talking about the little bit earlier. So Mars and Scorpio can talk about doubts and fears. It can also talk about overcoming them, right? Taking action to, or having the courage to confront them. It can. All right. So there could be something that now we have Mars squaring the IC in Leo, and here it is. And Mars is over here, and we can see the square now, right? And so here it is. And let's go ahead and refresh this though. And so when we have Mars squaring the IC in Leo, there could be something you're very driven or passionate about related to romantic partners. Okay, or business partners perhaps too. The square is creating inner conflict, Aries, encouraging you to do something about it. Yeah, and this could be about your self-expression. You're feeling hindered possibly, or quieted, or nulled maybe, and this could be playing out where you might feel powerless until you take action with the square. The square is pushing you to take some type of action. You could be angry about something possibly. This can have to do with the IC has to do with family, so maybe there is something going on with family right here. Children, even Leo is about children as well. It can be about parents. Um, yeah, you could feel, you might feel a need for security or nurturing or maybe peace even. It can be maybe peace. Maybe you are trying to establish some type of peace here, and you feel like you have to do something because we are in Libra season. Libra season is about peace. It's about creating balance. hmm Yeah, this can have to do with parents and family as well, for sure. All right, so you might want somebody to pay attention to something, maybe listen to you in a way, because here Leo is about our self-expression. Mars is definitely about some type of action-oriented thing. And you, yeah, as I said, you could be angry, but you might want somebody to pay attention, maybe pay attention to you, to what you have to say. That's a possibility. Now we have Mars squaring the MC, and here it is. Where's Mars? Here it is right there. And the MC is about our career, our social status. And if you're not working, it is about how people kind of classify you in the world, or how people are, your social status, right? Or even your reputation. But this can be about your social status. Can be, you're married, you're divorced, you just got your PhD or your degree, and now you're changing and you're moving and you're going to get a new job. That can be your social status, because that is definitely changing. Um, yeah, if yeah. hmm And so you may feel a need for independence and authority over your own future or life too. You could be, because here is the 11th house, Aries, for you. This is about your future. I'm going to go ahead and it is about your future here, where you are trying to maybe take control. Yeah. Um, and so this can also be related to your father, right? Or an authority figure, where you feel you're feeling some type of tension with that square, right? With your natal Mars. Oops, sorry about that. Let me move this. And let's refresh this. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, and so Mars is at home in Scorpio, Capricorn. I mean, not Capricorn, I'm sorry, Aries. I was thinking about this MC. But the thing I wanted to say here too, you might have an issue with a boss or authority figures, or whoever. Whoever is, uh, whatever represents authority in your life. That can be a boss, maybe a company. Um, it just depends. Yeah, so there could be somebody, Mars is so at home here in Scorpio. There can be somebody you're very passionate about, but there's something you feel like you need to do with Mars in Scorpio. And Black Moon Lilith, I feel like I was talking about this already earlier, is conjunct Mars and Mercury, and you might feel the need, you might feel the need that you need to speak up about somebody you feel is like abusing you or maybe mistreating you, um, maybe criticizing you even, right? Because Black Moon Lilith is related to criticism as well. You could be feeling like somebody is trying to maybe abuse their power and kind of thwart your self-expression or your creativity. And this is not for all, but it can be. This can play out this way sometimes. And don't be concerned with being right. Trust your intuition, Aries. This is happening in your psychic house. Yeah, it's happening in Scorpio. So in your eighth house. So no worries there. Trust yourself. Mars can be very powerful in its own house of rulership. Sexual freedom might be the focus of your attention. And the sun is opposing the full moon. Here is the sun opposing the full moon from your house of partnerships. All right. Yeah, the sun is here's the sun in your seventh house of relationships. This is also your house of court cases, openness, and open enemies. Yeah, it is about Libra is about being open, right? Being open to really being open to creating balance, but there can be opponents there because that is the lower side of that. Yeah, would be opponents that don't want, balance and harmony. In fact, they are opposing you on some level, right? This can have to do with your partnerships. There's something you need to see, possibly related to partnership themes, having to do with your sense of self and your partner. This axis is always like, right? So here's Aries is the self, and here is Libra, and that is your relationship. So when we have a full moon in Aries, we have this going on. When we have a full moon in Libra, and the sun would be in Aries, then yeah, then we would, this would be the same thing. It would be about the self and the other, or the self, this opposition, this opposing, this need to merge and create some sort of balance. An opposition is basically, it is kind of an asking to create balance and merge energies to do that. And so Chiron is in your 12th house, Aries, and we're going to refresh it. Here's Chiron. Uh, where is Chiron at? Chiron's in your first house. Did I say the 12th house? That's not right. Chiron is in your first house, and it's nearly conjunct the moon. Here it is. It is nearly. This is separating. So, but this here too. It is can talk about a need to heal something within, or to kind of overcome something that is psychological or emotional in order to help you in your relationships, to help you show up possibly in your relationships. Maybe you are trying to speak up because you have about something, as I mentioned, because here's Mercury as well in your eighth house of intimate relationships. You might be trying to speak up, which is easy for you guys to do. Yeah. And there could be healing that needs to take place, something, and to leave something behind, maybe old wounds, um, right? Could be. And so, all right. Okay, Aries. We're going to move on to Taurus. I beg your pardon. And I hope that was helpful, right? Let's see, we have Taurus, and the full moon is in your house of the unconscious. So here you are, and where are you? Here you are, and the full moon is in your 12th house. This is the house of the hidden, similar to Scorpio here. So the moon is here in your 12th house of endings. This is the house of limitations as well. Can be about vices and addiction, things like that. The 12th house is also, a place of compassion and creativity and overcoming wounds and things like that, but spiritually, right? Transcendence. So, and major awakening. This is the house of the 12th house is the house of Pisces, right? So your 12th house was ruled by Mars, but the 12th house is the natural house um, of Pisces. And so this can be about compassion and healing, and also kind of seeing things that, the unconscious patterns, right, that are often hidden. And that will depend, right, on the person's chart. But that's really what the 12th house is about. And so it's here for yours is in Aries. I feel like that's pretty good because there's a balance of, I feel like there's a balance of energy there. Although, the 12th house in Aries um, it can be about aggression sometimes. Um, and it can be about also, taking action in order to having the drive to leave things behind, because the 12th house is also the house of the past. It can relate to the past, yeah. Past wounds and past lives and things like that. All right. Um, and this is also, the 12th house is also about uncertainty and doubts and fears. So, illness can show up here. And, of course, we don't want anybody to be ill here. But I'm just telling you, what the 12th house is associated with. So that is where the full moon is here. You could be learning about something because of this 12th house placement. Something comes to light, some type of unconscious pattern, or it's just really going to depend. Chiron is in that house too. So yeah, I mentioned healing, right? And so now the full moon is, we talked about Chiron. And so now yeah, this could be something usually very emotional. So your 12th house is emotional, Aries, Taurus, I'm sorry. Um, it's emotional to a certain degree. And I say this because Aries can be quite, it can be dramatic. It can be, Mars is the ruler, it's quite dramatic, driven, intense. So it can be that. And so now we have, it's important, Taurus, excuse me, for you to see and understand these unconscious patterns that are holding you back when we have the moon in the 12th house, especially there with Chiron. All right, so natal Venus is your natal Venus, right? Is conjunct the south node. And where is it? It is here. It is in a conjunction. Here we have Athena in the middle, but here we have this conjunction with the south node. And this is kind of telling you to um, kind of, let's see what house that's in for you. This is in your fifth house of romance and pleasure. Uh, yeah, and love, right? It is. It's also about children and your self-expression and creativity. But this here, the South Node conjunct with Venus here is telling you to leave behind old partners that old relationships that never really worked. Leave behind those patterns. This can also be about your money. Maybe you are, leaving things behind or learning from them, possibly with the South Node, about ways to possibly make more money or to improve your finances. That's important to you, Taurus. It is. You rule the second house of finances. And Venus is about our well-being as well. It is about beauty and our well-being, all right? Um, and love, of course. Okay, so, um, and this could have you, kind of analyzing or just kind of looking at things and, I want to do things different, things that maybe serve self-love, right? It's a possibility here, and serve your stability here in the fifth house of love and pleasure. This is also your house of children. It can be the house of teaching children. It can also be about your recreational activities and really how you have fun in your life, the fifth house. So, and there can be self-criticism here because it's in Virgo, right? So, Virgo can be, very discerning, but at the same time, sometimes critical. So, if there's been any self-criticism or criticism of others, yeah, just leave that out, Taurus, right? Yeah. And that is going to be for your well-being. This is also about well-being. It is. There's something about maybe, yeah, it can be about your well-being. This could be about your health or your work. It can possibly because it's in Virgo, but this is mostly about discernment and service as well. Maybe you feel like, you've been helping people here, and they just don't appreciate it here. And now you need to kind of move on from that. That can be, right, where you don't feel like they appreciated you. That can be showing up that way as well. So we have Venus conjunct. I talked about Venus conjunct the South Node. I did. Um, yeah, Venus, as I said, can be asking you to have more self-love. And these themes are of the past. They sure are. Uh, and so now we have Saturn is conjunct the North Node here, Saturn right here, Taurus, and it is conjunct the North Node, whoops, the North Node of higher purpose, of true potential, right? And it's also called fate and destiny. It is. When we have Saturn here, with that conjunction, yeah, this is asking you to kind of get serious about your future. This is in your 11th house. And yeah, it is. That's interesting. So that is telling you, it could be saying that, maybe there have been restrictions that have been kind of holding you back to move forward here. But this is really asking you to be, that could be the case. And this can be related to this Venus over here. Venus is related to money. And Virgo, yeah, it can be related to your second house of earned income. So Saturn is about your career. And so when we have this, there may have been restrictions there about maybe in your career, but this could be telling you to get serious. And with Saturn, excuse me, conjunct the North Node, this can also be, reach high, reach up for your true potential, reach up for your higher self, and really what you want, like what your soul is wanting in this incarnation, what your soul wants in this life. This is the North Node is the soul's intention to live a true life and follow your true path, and whatever that is for you, right? It's always different for everybody. And so we have Venus, and that is opposing Saturn. I mentioned that really briefly here. Here's Venus, and here is the opposition to Saturn. And there's tension between your desire for pleasure and beauty, possibly, or maybe um, it can be money as well. There can be tension between your desire for pleasure and beauty, or money, or love, or like things that make you comfortable, right? Venus is also about, our possessions and things that make us comfortable. But there could be, tension between your desire for those Venusian things like beauty and love and money and structure and responsibility. You might feel like your self-expression is hindered, and perhaps by leaving something behind, you may be able to do that because here's the South Node conjunct with Venus. Yeah, as part of, sort of as part of this, part of the, um, just kind of part of the, a little bit, because of this opposition, because it is in Virgo and it is conjunct with Venus. So let's go ahead and refresh that. All right. And yeah, this can be about your relationships, even your health, as the South Node is associated with psychological health, your emotional health. And there, you might need to commit to something and take something very seriously as well. Um, as well, Taurus. All right. Yeah, Venus sextiling Jupiter, and that's a good thing. It sure is. And here is Venus. The sextile is a little star here. So a sextile is an opportunity to kind of help you, but you have to see it and you have to take advantage of it, right? You have to act on it because they don't last. They don't last very long, sextiles, right? Especially with Venus. Venus is moving, it's fairly quickly. So there is an opportunity there for you for emotional fulfillment to develop, maybe nurturing, possibly, and fulfilling like relationships and possibly family relationships. Jupiter is in Cancer. This can be a chance to build meaningful bonds, Taurus. And so, and this can also be related to, siblings or extended family, and, it could be letting old arguments go with them, which can help improve your daily life because Venus is here in Virgo, and that can be helping you do that for sure. Venus also rules your sixth house, and so here's Libra, and this is your sixth house of daily life, daily obligations, daily schedules. This is about your health and your work. Um, Yeah, and that is in Libra, and this is ruled by, Venus. You and Libra share Venus. And so the sun is showing you too here, Taurus, what's important and what needs to be perhaps looked at. It may be about relationships, right? Um, as it opposes the moon, right? As it opposes the moon in Aries, in the sign of the self, and the opposition is with Libra, right? The sign of marriage or relationships. Yeah. And so the sun may be asking you possibly to look deeper at these patterns that may be holding you back with work, relationships, or even self-expression, and to establish like a fairness without surrendering your own needs. Yes, whenever the sun is in Libra, there's always maybe a propensity to kind of just surrender our own needs or compensate or overly compensate, things like that. So Gemini, the full moon is in your 11th house of social networks. This is the house of friendships and unattached, can be friendship, but unattached relationships, right? Or uninvolved, I should say. This can be about community, social goals, and hopes and wishes, social connections, rather, can be. And the 11th house is the house of the future. I can't leave that part out. So let's see here for you, Gemini. Here is the 11th house. There we go. We have two more to go. We do, and we can count backwards if you'd like. If you'd like to see, here's the 12th house in Taurus and your 11th house where the moon, where the, Aries new moon is in your 11th house of the future. You could really be taking action, Gemini, to have a new beginning, right? For your future. You might have the drive here to really change your future or to move into a new future, to do something, some type of endeavor. This is Aries, right? Some type of personal endeavor, it can be anything, can be, but you look like you are definitely trying to map out your future and not even map it out, but maybe just step into it. Aries is very, um, spontaneous for sure. Okay, so this then the 11th house is also associated to political groups, the church, or spiritual organizations as well. And so the house that rules the outcome of your career. Okay, and also and how that can affect your social life. Okay, that's interesting. And why do I say the outcome of your career? That's not worded well, right? Because the 11th house is the gains also, your gains of what you have done with your career. Yeah, it's a house of here's the 11th house. It is in Aries, right? And this is the natural 11th house, which would be um yeah, your 11th house is here in Aries. And so this can be about you just, wanting a whole new future for yourself. It can. And this 11th house has to do with the gains that you have made in the 10th house of career and social status. This is your house of hopes and wishes as well. And that's what I meant by that. And so you could be emotional about a cause or a certain group of people right now, Gemini, and the full moon can bring up attitudes about friends that are emotional. That could be, that's a possibility, because the moon is emotional. It is, also still in kind of a very, well, this is a very loose conjunction, but it is here, and Chiron is there as well. So you might be emotional about about somebody. It could be who maybe is just a part of, a group of people, possibly. Yeah, there can be something that you need to heal, Aries, because as I've been saying, not Aries, there can be something you need to heal, Gemini, as Chiron is in Aries, but this is your 11th house of the future. Yeah, something might need to heal here. This can have to do with a sense of yourself or your own autonomy. Yeah. Maybe freedom even. All right, and independence, because that's what Aries wants. Aries is a very independent, freedom-loving, and very action-oriented sign, right? This can also be about how you show up in the world. You might be wanting to show up in the world in a brand new way. possibly, right? Maybe you've gone through some major changes, Gemini. I'm a Gemini rising. I know I've gone through some for sure. So Uranus is at 1 degree in your sign, and here's Uranus right here, in your sign of, excuse me, Gemini. This is, yeah, I was talking about Aries, but this is for Gemini. And so we have Uranus at 1 degree in your sign. And that is bringing change to you already, right? That's change. Maybe you are seeking something more freedom, more kind of independent, but that is change. It can be chaos as well. And so this change that comes to you could be by way of chaotic situations or instability. Doesn't necessarily have to be chaos, right? And so your natal Mercury is conjunct Black Moon Lilith and Mars, the ruler of the full moon, in your sixth house in Scorpio. All right, so Mars, Mars conjunct Mercury. Let's talk about that first here. Um, yeah, and so there could be something you need to say or express yourself. This could be about just your own expression. Like it doesn't have to be you want to tell somebody in general. It could, but it can be that you just want to express yourself to the world, possibly. You may want to speak up about something. It could be personal or social. It depends. And maybe about something that's been hidden or secretive or kept hidden, as these are in Scorpio, right? Scorpio is about what has been hidden or what is being hidden. And so these can be deep desires as well with Mars in this here, um, for sure. And whatever you are trying to do here in your sixth house, maybe you want to create new, possibly new, a new schedule for yourself, a new regimen, maybe a health regimen as well. Maybe you want to start working in the occult or studying it, but this is about seeing the truth as well. It is. This is about uncovering truths. Mars in Scorpio in your sixth house. You could be seeing issues, or not even issues, but maybe this is about taking charge of your health. It really can. Taking charge of physical or psychological health, because Scorpio is about the psychological. Mercury is here helping you do whatever you need to do, like to understand things, especially in Scorpio, understand what you need to do that is related to because Mars is there as the action, right? So whatever you need to do to maybe improve your health, or diet or something like that, or work as well, or just your daily life in general, that could be going on there. All right. Okay. But what you're doing here, Gemini, is you're taking some type of, it looks like you are doing some deep shadow work, or this could really help you because Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio, it could be, that's really interesting, because it is conjunct your sign. Yeah, it is conjunct Mercury, your natal ruler. So there can be, um, yeah, there can be some shadow work that can help you really, Gemini. So self-acceptance is key here. A deep understanding of yourself is definitely important here. This can be very powerful as Mercury is also opposing Chiron, which is about insecurities or vulnerabilities or sensitivities, psychological or physical, right? But the opposition, this Aries is about it's more physical, but this this Scorpio is definitely about the psychological and the deep in our psyche as well. And so there could be certain things here that you feel that have been repressed, not depressed. I mean, that's a possibility all the time, but where certain things are repressed, or there is a non-conforming stance here that is possibly helping you to look at these deeper issues, right? With Black Moon Lilith there. So we have Mars, and that is conjunct Mercury, as I said. And this can, here's Mars and Mercury, and this can manifest as sharp words, arguing, power struggles could be, especially in Scorpio. This could be abrupt communication. Somebody could be Bossy, very bossy, and that, maybe it may be you, it may be somebody else. It's a possibility here. And how you show up in the world, Gemini, is changing because we have the air trine that has to do with social issues or practices. And your beliefs can change. You could be changing at a core level. You could. So Uranus is here and in your sign, in your first sign, and it is conjunct the AC. And the AC is here, right? The AC talks about the ascendant, and we don't know your exact ascendant. I mean, because that is based on your time of birth. But we are in a general way, we are, using Gemini as your first house. That's why these readings are really for sun, moon, and rising, right? And so here we have it in your first house, Gemini. And so this is changing. It could be changing how you show up in the world. Um, yeah, your social beliefs can change there with Uranus. Um, and this is also, about something very personal, a personal aspect about you. And Mercury is the planet of the mind. Where is Mercury? Right here. And so and Mercury is squaring Pluto now. So where is Pluto? Right here. Here's Mercury right here. And we see the square there. Um, hmm Yeah, and this is happening in your house of faith, spirituality, and higher purpose, right? This is also the house of education and, faraway lands and travel. This is the house of what is very meaningful to you, Gemini. Yeah, that's what it is. And here you are. Yeah, this is your ninth house, right? And this can be your house of expansion and growth. It can. And you might feel compelled to study the occult right now. You could with with Pluto there. Um, and so you might feel pushed to learn about the hidden aspects of life as well, whether or not you feel like kind of uh, comfortable, possibly in certain groups. Uh, that can be the case here. Neptune is in your 11th. Yeah, this is why I'm talking about now excuse me, your and yeah, so now we're talking about this Neptune in the 11th, right? So where is Neptune? Neptune is here in your 11th house of the future. It's also about social groups. It can be about politics. It can, or any groups that we really kind of identify, right? It can even be friendships. But you could be seeking out like-minded groups, like-minded people, Gemini, who share your interests, especially those that align with your dreams and your values, right? Neptune is sextiling Pluto. And this can be very kind of for the collective, right? Because these are outer planets, not really personal planets, but some of you will experience a rebirth, yeah, and a shift in consciousness. And a lot of people are doing that, right? Yeah. And they may not understand it, they may not feel it. They will eventually, but there's a lot of people who are basically awakening, yeah, or waking up um, to really what the world is, and that we are spiritual beings here and having a physical experience. Yes, we are. And yeah, I can tell you a story too about uh, somebody who um, somebody who was sick, and he had to move with his wife near his daughter. And so he moved, and the wife loved it there, and he did not want to move. He wanted to stay in his house. His house was, he was there for 40 years, and he had his workshop there and his den or whatever he had, and he didn't want to move. So they moved anyway because they were not, really well, and they were fixing the house, and so he wanted to oversee the flooring. This older man, a very kind man, and actually an Aries. Yeah, I find that to be interesting. An Aries, and he passed away like about, I think, about 2 weeks ago. But he went there with his grandson to approve the flooring. And so remember, he didn't like being where he was living at all. So when he went there, he collapsed on the floor and died and passed away. So he wanted to die in that house. And that is how we understand That is one manifestation of showing that the soul wants what the soul wants. Yeah, I found that to be very interesting. All right, so let's talk about Cancer now. And Cancer, the full moon is in your 10th house of career and leadership and higher ups and bosses, the father, legacy, and reputation. This is also your house of social status. All right, and so. There could be something going on. You may want something new for yourself, right? Maybe you want to be seen in a whole new way by others, because when we talk about social status, maybe you are kind of rethinking your social status. It can have to do with anything, the work you do, kind of your education, right? If you have just gotten a degree, it can be marriage and divorce, things like that, um, are all social status themes, right? And the moon is here trining the IC. Here is the moon, and here is the trine. So trines, in case I didn't explain them, trines are letting things happen quickly, basically removing the obstacles. It is the Trinity, basically. And so, when we speak of religion, but it is this isn't, we're not talking about religion, but at one time the astrologers were part of the church. Yes, they were, until they realized that the astrologers knew too much and they had to get them out. Yeah, that was a very long time ago. And so, where was I on this? So, yeah, the moon is trining the IC in your second house, Cancer. Your second house is Leo. And so this has to do with your finances and your self-esteem and your values. These can be your beliefs, right? Your ties with family are harmonious. That's a very good thing. And when I say your ties, I mean that in one sentence. I mean that family ties could be very good right now. That's what I'm trying to say here. And there's an authenticity and a feeling at home. You could be feeling at home in yourself, possibly, or maybe just feeling very at home with family members, right? Or your tribe, in case you don't have family, right? Which are kind of like your best buddies or people you are with, spend a lot of time with. But this is very empowering for you, Cancer. It is. So the moon is opposite the sun in Libra, right? We've been saying this because that's what the full moon is about, is really in opposition with the sun. And so, yeah, and so this is a home and family, right? And work could really be your focus right now. And let's have a look at what house Libra is in for you, Cancer. I feel like it's in your fourth house. And we have, yes, it is. So, home and family can be a real focus for you. For Cancerians, home and family is always the focus, right? Because the fourth house is home and family, and the moon and Cancer, that is your house. Your house is the fourth house. Your fourth house happens to be ruled by Libra. This kind of really means that, your home life, it needs to be very harmonious. Yeah, my son is Cancer. Everybody needs that, but I feel like they need it more. You guys need it more because Cancerians are, it's they're nurturing, so they need that harmony in the home, right? For sure. Um, let's see here, but the opposition is between your fourth and your 10th houses, Cancer. So here's your fourth, and your 10th is in Aries. So there is some type of balance that needs to be created with your home and your family, the fourth and the 10th houses, and your work or your social status, maybe even your reputation, can be legacy and kind of what you want to leave behind in this world. But this sun here is, the sun is in Libra, so that is relationships, and Aries is the self. So, these are really important. Uh, and these are angular houses as well. They are. The first house, Aries represents the first house, although it is not your first house, right? It does in the natural chart, the self, and Libra in the natural chart represents the relationships. And now we have the fourth house and the 10th house. So a big theme for you right now, Cancer, on home and family, your relationships, maybe your marriage, or, but your relationships, and your work as well. Yeah, for sure. Um, so yeah, And so Jupiter is in your first house, Cancer. It'll be there until June, I think it's June 30th of next year. And so supporting you with all that is important, all that is important to help you grow, all that is meaningful to you. For sure, this can be a little emotional sometimes because Jupiter wants everything to be bigger and more dynamic, and Cancer is about nurturing and our emotions. This can be too, you are increasing your family. Maybe you guys are, maybe you're having a child. That's a possibility. This can also be, potentially can be that maybe that you are moving, but this is more about, um, this is more about your expansion as well and how nurturing, how you, maybe self-nurturing is helping you to expand as well. That's very interesting. Yeah, but that's a very good placement there. It is. That is that's good luck for you, Capricorn, until June 30th of 2026. All right. So, and we have Jupiter that is trining the North Node. Let's look at that. And here's Jupiter. And here's the North Node. Now, the North Node is your higher potential, your true potential, your higher self, your true path, your fate and destiny. And here's Jupiter. And Jupiter is a little related to that because Jupiter is about your higher purpose and what is very meaningful to you. So when we have this trine here, that's really beautiful with Jupiter trining the North Node. And let's have a look at that here. And yeah, and so this is definitely making things easier for you, Cancer, to create, things that are very meaningful to you. Let's see what houses is in for you. The North Node, we have, this is in your first house. This is in your ninth house. So there's a real connection here because Jupiter also represents the ninth house. It's connected. So this is about what's very meaningful to you, and you're moving into something here. You could be. This is very supported, something very meaningful and something that is related to your higher purpose or your true potential. Yeah, that's really beautiful here. And we have Jupiter trining Saturn as well. And I would say that, Saturn is definitely helping you to create structure in this, in whatever you are, wanting to do here in your expansion, in your growth. Saturn is helping. It is retrograde, as is the North Node, but Jupiter is direct. And so, but this can also mean, be serious and be committed. It can, with Saturn there, because Saturn wants to make our dreams come true, especially in Pisces, but it is wanting us to be serious and committed about it. All right, so now we have Mars, the ruler of the fifth house, the ruler of the full moon, rather. And where is Mars? Is in your fifth house. And this is the house of pleasure. Here's Mars, the house of pleasure. Interesting here, that's the house of pleasure, and it's in Scorpio. So sex must be very important to Cancerians. I would think it would be, yeah, because Scorpio can be about sex, and Leo is about love and romance and self-expression. Yeah. So here we have Mars here, in your fifth house. And let's see what they, uh, mm-hmm. Yeah, and this can be also your fifth house of children or teaching children. This is your house of personal agency as it relates to personal leadership, as it relates to your self-expression. And so Mars is helping you take control of that, Cancer, take control of these areas of your life. This is very passionate here, but you have to be careful not to get into arguments with intimate partners here because it's in Scorpio. And also the fifth house is about love. So be careful for that. You have this black moon Lilith here, and I'm not sure if it's in my notes here, but I can't kind of, yeah, it is. This is conjunct Mars and also conjunct Mercury here. And there could be something that maybe you kind of, you're not so thrilled about yourself, but it could be also suppressing your desires. So I feel like there's a need here. Mercury is here to understand your shadow side. We all have one. We do, right? We just don't, we never talk about it, right? Why would you talk about it? Maybe with a psychologist, right? Maybe, maybe with your spiritual advisor. Yeah, definitely. I'd rather talk to the spiritual advisor about it. I would, than a psychologist, or definitely than a psychiatrist, right? But we want to like accept things about ourselves, but we want to understand our shadow self, and you can step into your power by accepting. And, and possibly, when we deal with our shadow side, we take a really good look at it. We have to understand why we were doing certain things. And now we can say, enough, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I'm going to embrace who I really am now. But I'm not doing these kind of shadowy things, right? Or dark things anymore. Um, yeah. And Mercury is drawing your attention to them. It is. Mars can help you to really overcome this, though, and confront, possible deep-seated desires that are not being met, Cancer. There could be something in this reading. There's something that is working really well for you in this reading, but there is also, with the sun in Libra, as I was saying earlier, in your fourth house of home and family, opposing your 10th house. It could be maybe somebody, it can be that, your partner here is kind of maybe hindering you in some way, right? You could feel that. Might not even be, I'm not sure what's going on, of course, but it can be a partner could be hindering you here. Um, and yeah, it might be, and kind of thwarting your self-expression. The sun is about your self-expression. All right, so now we have Jupiter, and that is Venus is sextiling Jupiter, and here's Venus right here, and let's click on that, and here's a little star with Jupiter. So as Venus is doing that, your relationships will can be more harmonious here. There's an opportunity to make them. That's what a sextile is. There's an opportunity here for you to make your uh, to create more harmony within your relationships. To create more harmony possibly, and also there's and to allow like a discernment. This is in Venus is in Virgo, to allow the discernment maybe to be a little bit more helpful possibly in your relationships. That could be the case here. This can be also, you might have an opportunity to make more money here. Venus can be about our money, and Virgo, is your discernment here. um, Venus rules the second house of earned income. So you could have an opportunity to make more money and expand your world here because we have Jupiter in Cancer. That's beautiful. Yeah, that is. All right. And so now we have Jupiter. Jupiter is now trining Saturn. Let's look at that, Cancer. And Jupiter is right here trining Saturn. Here is Saturn, right? Saturn can be the stern teacher, but Saturn's about really about structure and responsibility and commitment. It is when we don't show those or uh, exude those qualities in our life that the stern teacher comes to us, right? With restrictions and challenges and hard lessons and things like that. That's what Saturn is about. Saturn is in Pisces right now. It does want it. It's bringing structure there. It wants to make our dreams come true. Yes, it does. But this Jupiter Saturn trine, Saturn is in your ninth house of faith and philosophy and higher realms. So good things can be coming in, possibly very quickly with you, Cancer, and it can be related to career and bosses. And bosses maybe are supportive at this time as well. Whoops. They can definitely be. Um, and there is a maturity here and a commitment, and that can help you immensely, right? If you are committed to something or serious about it, it can really help you grow right now, Cancer. So your feelings, or your inner life, right? Your private life is opposing your sense of self, right? So this here, this in the sun in Libra, this not only home and family for you, but this is your emotional security, your house of emotional stability right here. And so this can be about your feelings, right? Of course. anything that makes you feel kind of safe or stable, that is opposing your sense of self, or your leadership and your, outer personality, your maybe your social personality, right? Um, hmm And so, yeah, yeah, this axis right here has to do with career, versus versus family, and merging those energies to make the best of both, right? To enjoy the best of both, to be in your power in a good way, in both, right? To kind of, the sun is here. This is about your self-expression, and to feel seen. The sun wants to be seen, right? The sun is ruling Leo, and so Leo wants to be seen, of course. A lot of entertainers that are Leo. So maybe you feel like you need to be seen a little bit more, or acknowledged. That could be the case here. Um, yeah, and this can also, like, indicate like how you show up in your relationships, Cancer. Maybe you could be, feeling like maybe change, because oppositions are change. Maybe that change is, important here, like that have to do with yourself and your relationships, possibly your home and family, and also how that will affect your career or your work, right? Or even long-term goals. All right. So, but this Aries full moon can bring you a new beginning. Uh, all right. Yeah. And this can bring you a brand new beginning. Um, Cancer, sorry about that. Um, in terms of your emotional security, it definitely can. All right, let's talk about Leo, and the full moon is in your ninth house of faith and philosophy. All right, so let's look at Leo here. Where is Leo? There you are. All right, so the full moon, Leo, is in your ninth house, though, right? Here's your ninth house in Aries, of faith and philosophy, higher realms, education, and long distance traveler. All right. Mars, the ruler of the ninth, is in your house of home and family and emotional security. So Mars is over here in your fourth house. Here we see you, Leo, and we move four houses up. So Mars in the fourth house of home and family, it can be a couple things. This could be you're very passionate about your home and family. You can be driven and actually feeling emotionally secure at the same time. But this can be about arguments in the home as well, right? Yeah, it can be. And so, but the full moon is in your house, in your ninth house here. Um, and that is over here. But Mars is showing up in your fourth house. That's why I was over here. This is a Mars-ruled full moon. It is, and you may have a deep need for family, for a family possibly, or for family maybe to be more nurturing. That could be the case. There could be a need to assert yourself as it relates to family, or you may want to protect loved ones or family in some way whenever we see Mars in the fourth house. Yeah, this is a very protective. It can be protective, and it can be angry sometimes, right? Maybe as I said, there could be arguments in the home. It's a possibility here. Um, yeah, there can be quarrels or power struggles at home, or anything that is challenging your emotional security. It doesn't always have to be family, Leo. No. And so, and your relationships can be very passionate right now. Family secrets can come to light during the full moon cycle. The full moon often illuminates these kind of hidden issues. The full moon can illuminate things of the past. And Mercury over here, Leo, is showing you that the details that are important in your life, right? That are important, that relate to your emotional security, or that relate to home and family. Could be. Um, And it can be indicating issues of communication with lovers or family members, possibly, or your tribe in case you don't, you don't have a family, right? For those that don't. But we see Mercury is also, here is Mercury, the planet of the mind and intelligence. And Mercury is trining Chiron, yeah, in Aries. There's a need to heal something, Leo. There is possibly, related to beliefs about yourself that aren't true. Maybe these could be just perceived beliefs, right? That's a possibility here. They can be limiting beliefs that need to be released as Chiron is conjunct the moon. Yeah, you may really need to kind of let things go that maybe aren't even true, right? We all kind of have had like perceived just kind of things that we think about ourselves that aren't even true, right? Yeah. All right. And so um, the sun is in Libra in the third house. Let's look at that. Um, yeah, the sun is in Libra in the third house. Did I say it was in the fourth? I hope not. But Mars is in the fourth house right here, right? So the sun is in your third house. And the third house is associated with communication, decisions, anything of the mind, processing information, can be plans and goals even. It's also associated with siblings, extended family, and the local neighborhood, or things that we're very familiar with. The local community. It can be about learning and short trips, the third house. And so that's where the sun is for you. And so this can be a very social time for you as well, as the third house is a social house, and so is Libra, right? Libra is about relating. You may be out and about, or really kind of visiting and going places in a very social environment. Yeah, and the sun is asking you, the sun opposite the moon is asking you to merge the power of your emotional mind with the social leadership qualities of the sun. That's kind of interesting here. This can be like you need to be, maybe you need to be, there's self-expression that is really important to you here. And maybe, not being so emotional. That can be the case here. It could also be that you maybe need to be a little nurturing here and kind of combining your leadership qualities, right? Or your extroverted self as well, because some Leos are very extroverted. That'll depend on your chart. Maybe you're just a little bit more extroverted during this cycle because of what I was saying about Libra and the third house as well. Your feelings in your inner life or your personal life is opposing your sense of self or your leadership, as I have mentioned, right? This can pertain to how you show up in relationships as well, Leo. So the Aries full moon, let's look at the Aries full moon right here. And the Aries full moon, this can bring new beginnings for you, definitely, because Aries is about new beginnings. And let's move back here. And this is in your ninth house of expansion. Yeah, you could definitely growth and expansion. You can be dealing with new beginnings here. The full moon does usually talk about an ending. It does. Um, an ending that can bring a new beginning or an ending as a revelation. All new beginnings are endings of some sort, right? Um, yeah, and fated encounters. Let's look at where is Vesta in your chart here. We have fated encounters. Let's look at this. Here you are, Leo, and this is the ninth house. Yeah, you could, Vesta is here, not Vesta. I'm sorry, not Vesta, but where is the vertex? Yeah, don't want to get those two confused here. Um, I don't see the vertex show. It's usually right here. That's so bizarre. Here it is. I'm sorry. So the vertex is in Libra, and this is in your third house. You might meet somebody fated, but there's somebody you already know possibly, or you run into them and you've known them from before. They're a little bit familiar because the vertex in Libra, this can talk about you can meet somebody very fated. It can happen quickly. But it could be somebody possibly who is in your neighborhood, maybe somebody you've never met and they live, around the corner, things like that. But this can be, this is very fated in a relationship. Yeah, it is. Um, and this can be a partnership. It can be also some type of possibly a business partnership as well that you are going to kind of encounter. Yeah. So let's move on now, and we're going to talk about Virgo. And I'll be right back with Virgo. Hi, okay, so let's do Virgo now. And if you guys can see, I'm wearing a different top right now. And yeah, it's a little bit long. So continuing it right here for Virgo. And so Virgo, the full moon is in your eighth house. Yeah, and also Mercury is entering Scorpio on the 6th, the same day as the full moon. But let's take a look at your eighth house, which is right here. The eighth house is the house of occult. It can be about, astrology and kind of, psychic matters. It can be about metaphysical and esoteric studies, things like that, tarot, astrology, past life studying past lives, things like that. Anything that has to do uh, with Scorpio, really, right? And this is also the house of seeing what's been hidden. Yeah, it can be that. And so the eighth house is also about intimate relationships and the money that we make, the money that we share with others. So it can be an intimate relationship, but it can be, even your 401k, even your boss, kind of, if he's writing your check, right? The money we make with other people, shared monies. It can be the house of doubts and fears. There's a lot going on there in the eighth house, as there is really in every house. It's a house of the unconscious as well, the house of mystery. And so the sun is in your second house, Virgo, right here. And here you are right here. We move forward, right? The sun's in the second house. The second house is about your money, your finances. It's also about your self-esteem. So your self-worth and your well-being, it can have to do with your beliefs as well. The second house is it's spiritual as well. Although, there's a lot of it's about your values, but there's a lot of money. It is about your possessions and your money and your financial situation. Yeah. And so yeah, so you can see so far that relationships or money are a big deal because of the eighth house is about shared monies, right? So that's what we're talking about here for you, Virgo, in the eighth house, and then the sun is in your second house. And this is the axis that we are working with the full moon, right? So Libra counts, and your second house which is ruled by Venus. This is very important too, the sun, not just the moon over here, which is, across. hmm And so the full moon, there could be a big focus here on endings for you, Virgo. There could be, um, and the full moon here, for everybody actually, because the full moon can, bring revelations. It can clarify things that were hidden before. It can illuminate, right? And so, and something can be culminating, something that maybe you started in either March of last year when we had the Aries new moon, or March of this year, right? And so your natal Mercury is moving into Scorpio. I believe it's there. Where is natal? Where is? And here is Mercury, and it's at 0 degrees. So it's already moved into, that is the same day. It moves, I believe it moves into, I might have said that here. Mercury moves in the same day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mercury enters Scorpio on the same day. Yeah. And so we see Mercury here. Mercury is the planet of the mind. This is your natal ruler and also Virgo, Gemini's natal ruler, right? So we have Mercury for you in a couple places in your first house, and also Gemini is over here in your 10th house of career. Really interesting. And, that's what Mercury is ruling for you, rules that 10th house of career. That's very good because that makes you very discerning about your career. It does. But as we are, we're talking about the full moon here. And Mercury can have you focusing again on money. It can because it's in Scorpio. It's a possibility here. Um, where am I here? Yeah, and so, mm-hmm. It can have you focusing on your relationships as well. And so now we have Mars. Let's look at Mars here. Mars is helping you to be more driven, Virgo, in whatever you are really doing at this time, right? Mars is about drive and courage. It's about new beginnings as well. And here we have it in Scorpio, and Scorpio is Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. So there's definitely, this is definitely, it has to resonate in some way for you, or it should, yeah. Nothing is set in stone in this world. No, it's not. And so, yeah, Mars is there helping you to pursue all that is important to you. To pursue your passions. This could be about a passionate relationship. It can, because it's in Scorpio. You could have really been discerning a relationship here. You might have been. Yeah, and so something is either transforming or ending for you. It does look like that. The moon in the eighth, here's the moon back over here in the eighth house. This can allow you to regenerate, right? And transform something in your life. You could be maybe looking at relationships in a whole new way. Like, that's not how I want to go about my relationships or show up in them. That could be the case here, and this may be about money as well in the eighth house. And Aries, interesting how Mars is the ruler of the full moon, and here's Mars, right? This is why Mars is the ruler, but Mars is over here in Scorpio as well. So this is definitely giving you the drive to really, with Mercury here, to make decisions. Maybe you're having conversations with somebody that is really important. Maybe somebody you're very passionate about. Mars and Scorpio can, this can be with Mercury here. There could be angry words here with somebody. There might be. hmm Yeah, for sure. So let's continue. Yeah, Mars and Scorpio can bring power struggles, Virgo, and arguments. Yeah. Mercury is in your sign. Mercury in your sign. Where's Mercury? It's not really in your sign here. I'm not really sure why I put that here. Mercury is in your third house. The reason I say that is because the third house is the house of Mercury. It is. It's just that your third house is ruled by Mars. Yeah. So this is what I mean by that. That can be a little confusing for some. It can, because just because Aries is here, it is the natural first house. It doesn't mean that it's the first house for everybody, and so that's why that can be a little confusing there. But Mercury, here we go. Mercury is letting you see something that is hidden in Scorpio. Yeah, it's letting you see some type of unconscious pattern, most likely about yourself. Um, mhm. And so now we have Mercury is conjunct a Black Moon Lilith right here. And it looks like Black Moon Lilith is blocking Mars and Mercury. Yeah, it's almost like your shadow side is standing in the way of you taking action, or something like that in a situation. Or it could be, there could be something that's been blocking your passion, and it has to do with like past wounds, or, Black Lilith moon, the Black Moon here is, it's about your shadow side. It's about something you may not like about yourself, and I feel like you are seeing it right here when it's in Scorpio. So this is about, working on your shadow side. We all have one, and accepting, and, having more self-love. Yeah, because when Black Moon Lilith is there, it's often, a part of ourselves that we don't really like, yeah, that we don't really want to see or identify with. So once this is done here, it looks like any type of shadow work here, it can simply be, maybe you don't like how you were showing up in relationships. It's in Scorpio. That's a possibility. Or there's something about you don't like about yourself. This Black Moon Lilith, it can sometimes bring shame, right? And any kind of shame here can block, right? Block what you are trying to do here. But this is going to change here, all right? These planets are going to move. Mercury moves fairly quick. And then we have, and I don't feel like Black Moon Lilith is, the transit is very long either. This is going to change here, and this conjunction will go away, right? Where they are kind of working together. Yeah, that's going to go away here. And um, yeah, and so this could be forcing you to see your desires, Virgo, like, right? Step into your, like, your passions, could forcing you to be seeing them. Possibly, yeah, as I said, showing you something you don't like about yourself. You might feel bad here for like an aspect of your personality or about a relationship, possibly. That's very interesting there. You could have pushed this down into the psyche, Virgo. You might have, right? And this is what we usually try to do when things are difficult for us to kind of contend with, right? Um, yeah, maybe it's something, a part of yourself that you didn't want to face, right? I mean, I've had to face my own stuff, right? And say, oh, well, yeah. And so, but, interesting when you're growing or you're younger, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter the age. Sometimes we justify, right? Yeah, we justify everything we do, or we, try to say to ourselves that it's okay. I don't know, I had to do that, or so and so this, and maybe blaming others. But there's something here that I feel like you are facing though, because we have this Aries full moon it is about having courage and acting from the heart. Yeah, it is. All right, so you have Venus in your sign, and Venus doesn't really, it's not exalted in Virgo. It doesn't really like being there so much. It's like it's not in its power. That's what they mean by it's not in its dignity. Um, and so this is asking you, this is again about your relationship. Oh, no, okay. Venus is in your sign, encouraging you to let go of past relationships that didn't work that well, that may have affected you big time, right? And we have Venus, and it is opposing the North Node. Let's look at Venus, and here's the North Node over here. So this is asking you to learn from the past, because here is the South Node. It is conjunct Venus, asking you to let go of the past, learn from the past, and move forward. Yeah. And so move into your higher self, Virgo. That's what that's about. All right. Well, good luck with that, Virgo, and I'll see you in the next one. So let's see here. And let's go to Libra right now. And Libra, the full moon is in your seventh house. This is your house. Your seventh house happens to be ruled by Mars, which is very interesting. It definitely is. But this full moon there could be something ending about your relationships, any relationship. It could be a business, it could be you and your boss, maybe even, right? It could be a business relationship, a friendship, or it can be an intimate relationship as well. Originally, the seventh house was called the house of marriage, but now since, people live together so much, times have changed, right? All right, but the full moon's in the seventh house opposing the sun in your sign. This is a challenge, pushing for change, either in a relationship or maybe how you show up in them, right? There is a major focus on relationships or relating, and legalities can be open enemies, because that is what Libra season is about. And happy birthday to any Librans who are listening. It is a favorable time when the sun is in your sign. Yeah, it is. Okay. hmm For some of you, you guys could be dealing with a lawsuit, possibly. Um, Yeah, that's a possibility, but this is most likely you with the sun in your sign and the moon in your opposite sign, which is the self. So here you are, the relationship, or you and the other, right? And then over here, this is by yourself. So this has to do with something that has to do with most likely relationships. Yeah. Yeah, it does. All right. Or you are trying to create balance in some type of a situation, right? Create fairness, balance, and harmony. If you're in a relationship right now, Libra, it could be passionate, but however, for some, it may be very argumentative because that's what Mars represents, passion and anger and can represent new beginnings for you too. So Mars is in your second house of finances and well-being. Here's your second house. It is Scorpio. Um, and yeah, this is about your money and your well-being. Can be about your values as well, your possessions. And so you might feel that you need to take action or take control of a situation. That's a possibility. Um, yeah, you need to take control of a situation that is money or relationship based. Yeah. And so we have Mercury here. Mercury is in Scorpio. Mercury is helping you. Mercury's in Scorpio. Yeah, right here. Sorry, you guys. Is helping you to see things you couldn't see before. Yeah, when Mercury moves into Scorpio, this is a placement for like psychics and intuitives and anybody working in the spiritual world, even detectives, because they want to see what is hidden. And that's what Mercury is, the curious student, if you will. It looks like he's wearing a little hat right there, kind of little ears right here, but it kind of looks like a little hat. And he is in Scorpio, and I have that placement myself, and so does a very good friend of mine, and she is a major detective. Yeah, she is. And so detectives want to see what's being hidden, right? And that's what that is. So you're able to see something that is hidden, Virgo. I feel like Libra, I beg your pardon. I feel like you are. All right. So let's see here. Now we have the South Node is in your house. Here is your South. The South Node is here in your house of endings and limitations. Yeah, this can be the house of self-undoing. So excuse me. No, the South Node is not in your house of, oh, it is. I beg your pardon. So anyway, but right here, Libra, this could be saying that you could be saying possibly that in your 12th house, you could be saying stop criticizing yourself. It could be, and stop like kind of worrying about every little thing here because this is in Virgo, and Virgo is the planet of discernment. Leave that behind if you've been kind of overly, maybe overly helpful with somebody. Libra likes to do that. Libra likes to create the balance and sometimes is give a little bit too giving of themselves. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it is natal Venus. It is conjunct Venus, rather. And so this is allowing you to let go of these old patterns that I'm talking about and attitudes toward money and well-being. You might have some kind of really patterns that the South Node can be related to patterns. So can the 10th, 12th house. Yeah. Patterns that work against us. Yeah. So you might be you're able to do that, I believe, with the South Node in Virgo. Virgo is the discerner. Yeah, the big time one. Yeah. And don't worry. Yeah, try not to worry here. This can be worry as well. Uh, it can be. And we have Venus here. This is your Venus. I mentioned this, but Venus is your natal. This is your natal planet here. So for me, it looks like it is supporting something, but there's probably a relationship, as I was saying earlier, that may need to change, or you may be seeing, it doesn't always have to be, excuse me, could be any relationship. It doesn't really have to be, romantic, but you could be seeing a relationship kind of like hidden patterns there that are maybe you felt like they were kind of hindering you or maybe causing you to feel not so great. Yeah, basically. All right, now we have the South Node. And it's right here with the kind of little loop going down, kind of going south. And we have the North Node right here. And these are always on the axis and opposite each other. So whatever we see here with the South Node is going to be important over here with the North Node as well. So we have that South Node opposing the North Node. This is about change. And it's about tension as well that will create change most likely, and this is asking you to kind of merge something, right? It's asking you to be serious about something. Maybe this is serious about, maybe not criticizing yourself over here. That's a possibility. This can also be, as I was saying, South Node in Virgo, maybe you need to leave things behind that have to do with maybe the way that um, it could be doubts and fears too. That could be affecting your daily life, really. It's a possibility here, but there's some type of worry here. The 12th house can be about doubts and fears, and the South Node is there. So this could be telling you to basically to be serious and committed to possibly change with that 12th. Let something go there, right? This could be asking you to be committed to work or health matters. They don't always have to be physical. No, they can be psychological health matters, which includes worry. Yeah, it does. I mean, people, downplay worry. Well, no. If you're worrying once in a while, it's okay. But if you're worrying, a menudo, right? Like often, then that's a real problem because it's affecting your mental health big time. Yeah, it is. So, and so, yeah, and so maybe you need to a new exercise regimen or wellness. And this can be helping you to kind of move into your higher self over here, to your better self, right? And here we have the North Node, which is really associated with your higher self, your true potential. Can be fate and destiny as well. This is your life path. This is the North Node in the North Node, whatever it is for you, excuse me, Libra, in your own life, right? Right now it's here in Pisces, but um, yeah, and this can be, being able to see these past patterns in order to kind of reach, to see what's kind of hidden in order to reach your higher self. Yeah, and definitely leave these doubts and fears behind because it's in Pisces, right? This can also be about learning to kind of heal yourself. Yeah, Libra, learning to heal yourself can be spiritually, maybe it's physically as well, or, that way. Because this is Pisces is very psychological. It is. You could be feeling like it's hard for me to be compassionate to possibly to a partner, right? With the sun over here and the moon in Aries. Now we're talking about, back to the full moon opposing the sun, but you could be finding it's hard to be compassionate to somebody because of their behavior. It's possible. And it can be that maybe somebody is kind of wounded here. We have Chiron too. Or somebody needs to like kind of overcome and heal. This could be you or a partner too, or to heal these wounds, right? Chiron, that are hindering. That's all they do, right? Doubts and fears and insecurities. Sometimes these are physical, um, can be, but doesn't really need to be. No, especially um, no, it doesn't have to be physical at all. All right, so Saturn is there to help you, Libra, or Saturn right here. He's usually can be a helper and can be a hindrance, but it's more about learning lessons and kind of trying to, manage your life in the right way, whatever your heart is saying, really. But it's about commitment and reality check sometimes, right? This is Saturn is about commitment, long-term goals. Um, It can be about achievement as well, but restrictions alternately, right? So here we have the Saturn with the North Node. Saturn in Pisces wants you to make your dreams come true. Yeah, let's see. And that's in your sixth house. Yeah, maybe it is your dreams of your everyday life. Like, I really want my life to run smoothly, that kind of a dream. It can be. Um, and so we have Saturn with the North Node there. And Saturn is helping you to create structure, Libra. You might need to be of service to somebody or maybe even helpful to somebody that you're in a relationship with. That's highly interesting. But this is in your sixth house. So um, this can be work related or health related. It can. Yeah, and so this can be about pets as well. The sixth house is about your daily schedules, health, work, but sometimes it is also about pets. So it could be something going on there, right? And yeah, and with the south node over here in Virgo, wow, there could be somebody, maybe there's a pet here that has passed away, possibly. But um, yeah, and now we have the sun is in your sign. I feel like I mentioned that is very Very favorable, Libra, and this is shining its light on you to guide you, to bring clarity, to bring warmth, and a sense of self that is dynamic and powerful. Yeah, when the sun is in your sign. All right, let's move on to Scorpio. And Scorpio, this is in your sixth house of health, work, and daily life. And some call this the house of obligations, lifestyle, or even daily grind, right? Your natal Mars is in your sign right now, Scorpio, right here. And so, yeah, and so there's a new beginning for you, Scorpio. I feel like there is. Because Mars is about new beginnings. This is in your first house. I feel like you are creating some type of a new beginning for yourself. And the Mars rules the full moon as well. Yeah, maybe you have a whole different daily life going on. Maybe you have moved, or maybe you have a brand new job, but something about your life is most likely changing your personal life on a daily basis. Yeah, let's see what else we have. And you could be managing your life differently, or simply you have the courage to let something go and start over. You could be healing something psychological or physical. Yeah, that's a possibility here. This is, the sixth house. You could be healing something over here. That's a possibility. You have the courage to do that here. Chiron is here as well. So, this could be saying in your sixth house, something has got to be kind of healed. You may have thought about your life in a different way, and you could have possibly, you're just thinking, yeah, I just want to live a whole new different way. And Mars is at 10 degrees, and this is the second decan. And so Pisces is the second decan. Um, so this is about Piscean themes in a way because of that deacon. So this is about hidden patterns for you. It definitely can be, and it can be about healing. It can, uh, yeah. There's something here that you are most likely needing to heal. This is also about Pisces. The second deacon is about compassion and also endings and limitations. There's something you're putting to rest here, because you realize that it is like it's just that you need to do that. Yeah, that you need to do it for sure. Now we have Mars squaring the midheaven. Where is Mars? Right here. The midheaven is here. It is the top of the chart. In a natural chart, but here it is showing up here right now. Here you are, Scorpio. That's interesting. That is in the fourth house for you, but the MC is showing up there. So there's something about home and family and career as well. And Pluto is also your sign, but it's so generational. It usually has more to do with the collective. Let's see what it's doing here. Well, there are some opportunities here, but there's some change here that's going to come very easy to you, I believe, with, this Pluto. Uranus is trining Pluto. There's some major change that will come to you. Um, and in your eighth house, wow, it could be about intimate relationships, could be. All right, can be about money. Um, mm-hmm. All right, and so now we have and these are the angular houses I was talking about here. 1, 2, 3, 4 with the MC. Um, hmm Yeah, and this is an angular house, and so is the first house. But this is very, your sign is the first house. This is really important. There's something going on that is very key to like your personal life, your career, your everyday life. Something like that's going on here. The really important parts of our lives, yeah. And so we have, it looks like with the Mars squaring the MC, you have the initiative, Scorpio, the desire and the drive to achieve at work, or it can be family themes as well. The IC is in Leo, so your self-expression and your personal agency or your personal power is highlighted. Personal leadership, personal agency. Yeah, very cool. And so now we have the sun is in Libra in your 12th house of endings and limitations. I may have mentioned that. Yeah, it is helping you to see something psychological, I believe. And Mercury is in your sign here at 0 degrees. You might be seeing yourself in a whole new light. You could, right? And this can be, Mercury is how we process information, but it can be decisions and plans and goals because it represents the third house. But this is you're discerning here. Your discernment is very high here. You might be seeing yourself in a whole new light. You could be seeing your relationships in a whole new light as well, right? Yeah, but you're very clear on something here. Yeah, with the sun in your 12th right now and Mercury in your sign. So now we have Jupiter and it is trining the DC. Where is Jupiter at? It's down here, and let's look at the trine. And here is the trine right here. And the DC is in Scorpio. So the DC has to do with your partnerships. Yeah, it can have to do with legalities as well. Open court cases, sometimes open enemies, and of course, partnerships. I think I mentioned that. Yeah. And so here we have Jupiter trining that. There is a flow here that has to do with like relationships, but it has to do with you, how you show up in them. So some type of flow or something comes a little easy to you here. Um, and in your first house, because you are doing something to like raise your energy or feel better about something or take charge as well, because Mars rules your first house and the full moon is in Aries, and that is about taking charge. Yeah, it is. Jupiter is squaring your, yeah, and so Jupiter is trining that DC, allowing expansion for you, Scorpio, to come in. Yeah, allowing expansion and growth. The trine is the flow there that I've said, and Jupiter is granting you wisdom, possibly relating to relationships. Yeah, that could be the case. And so this, I believe, is your ninth house. Yeah, and Jupiter loves to be in the ninth house, so that's a great thing for you. Jupiter is about expansion and growth. It can be about good luck. It's about what is meaningful to us. Yeah, what we want to take on that is so meaningful, is connected to our higher purpose. So you have it in your ninth house, and this is really describing what I have just said, right? In Cancer too, there's most likely there's a nurturing. This can be self-nurturing. It can simply because we have Mars in your first house. So let's see here. Yeah, it can be nurturing yourself. It's a possibility as you relate or as you kind of manage your relationships. Self-nurturing and self-love is always so important. All right, and now we have Jupiter and it is squaring Chiron. Where is Chiron? Here's Jupiter. And let's look at the square right here. So Chiron is our sensitivities, our vulnerabilities. It can be about illness. It can be about psychological worries, kind of, not worries, but psychological. It's kind of, how we see ourselves, decisions that we've made about ourselves. This can be, Chiron can be wounds, or sensitivities, but they may be physical or psychological. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, is squaring Chiron, Jupiter is in your house of health, work, and daily life. All right, so let's look at that. Yeah. And so, yeah, there's something here that you've outgrown that has to do with you managing your own daily life or you seeing your life in a whole new way. Yeah, you've outgrown something or overcome it. And Jupiter is asking you, Scorpio, to act with wisdom and meaning and intent. All right, all right. Okay, so let's move on to Sagittarius. And Sagittarius. This is in your fifth house of love, pleasure, children, also creativity and self-expression because they go together really, right? And so they do. And also, this is your house of recreational activities and entertainment. And when I say creativity and self-expression go together, um, right? Excuse me. This can be creating, excuse me, guys, creating something for yourself, creating a new life, and self-expression is, is very important, right? How can you create, right, if you are not acting in your own self-expression or kind of living up to that, right? Yeah, and being authentic for sure. And so the moon is conjunct Chiron in Aries, and here is the moon, and here's Chiron. You're healing something, Sagittarius, something related to, it can be related to themes of abandonment. It can, rejection or inadequacy. All right. Trust me, a lot of us have felt inadequate at one time or another, right? We start questioning ourselves or criticizing. Yeah, no need to do that. Yeah, because this is in your house of self-expression. So there could be something that you feel kind of sensitive about, that has to do with your relationships. Maybe you feel sensitive in a way, or they're hard for me, relationships are hard for me, or they haven't worked out in the past, and maybe why will they work today, things like that. But I feel like you're healing that here, in your fifth house of self-expression. This can have to do with parents as well. Could be, past, with your, it can have to do with any parent, right? The father or the mother, that's a possibility here, or any family members here, or your idea about family, right? When you think about family, um, is it one of joy, or is it one of inadequacy, or I didn't fit in, or they didn't treat me well, or just something like that, right? That could be going on here as well. I feel like you are healing that, right? Because this is an Aries, so you have the courage and the will, Sagittarius, to step into a new beginning. Chiron is conjunct the anti-vertex. All right, so the anti-vertex is, I've heard a lot of astrologers speak on it. It is about, it's the opposite here, we can say, of the vertex. The vertex is about our fated encounters. Over here, this can be letting things fall away. It can be you're able to see things, um, kind of in a mystical way. It can be that as well. But we have Chiron in, with this anti-vertex. This is you letting things fall away. It's letting you see, I believe, what was holding you back. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah, I feel like, hmm and you could be seeing old patterns associated with wounds and things like that, right? The sun is in Libra, and that is in your 11th house, Sagittarius. The 11th house is the house of the future. It is sometimes our gains, our hopes and our gains, but these gains that have been made from the 10th house, because the 10th house is about achievement and discipline. So, there could be something here. Maybe you are kind of maybe reaping your gains, or you could be doing that. But the sun, there's a better way to express that, kind of reaping what you have sown. Could be the sun is in Libra, your 11th house, as I said. um, this is also about friendships and social connections, that house. But the sun here in the 11th house is always a good thing, I believe. This is, this could be saying your future is looking really bright. It can say that, right? In a very simple way, right? Astrology is complicated, right? And it is, but sometimes things are very simple. Yeah, sometimes they are. All right, and now you have your relationships are highlighted. They are, at least in the future, because the vertex is here too. So it looks like you are, or now possibly, but you can be. But this is in your 11th house of the future, your hopes and wishes. This is fated encounters, and usually in a relationship. So you could really be, this is your house of hopes and gains, right? You might be meeting somebody who is maybe everything you hoped for. Very interesting there. And that will be a fated encounter. Yeah, it would. Um, mm-hmm. And so, yeah, Venus is in your house of career, Sagittarius. Where's Venus? And social status, and it is conjunct the south node right here, right? And I've been repeating these, if you've been watching the other horoscopes, but this is the same for everybody in a different house. Not the same, but it can be similar. But the house changes, so where it happens can be different, right? Um, that is kind of the only thing that changes, in a way, in these general readings, right? And so, Venus is in your house of career and social status. This is the 10th house. Yeah, and it is conjunct the South Node. You might get married, Sagittarius. This could be about getting married because of the social status change. That's a possibility. But this is mostly, this is favorable, is what I'm saying here. Venus in the 10th, I believe it is. And you're letting things go here that maybe have kind of hindered your maybe the way you think, maybe you don't care about how people see you in society. I know I'm a Sagittarian and I don't. No, I don't. Uh, have I in the past? Yeah, yeah, that's true, but I don't now. And so, this can maybe you are experiencing the same thing where you don't care about how people classify you or what they think of you. You're just standing strong in your own, right? And we shouldn't care. We should never care. No. We should only, act with love and be kind to people. And that's the end of the caring, right? Hey, I did my best. I'm kind to you. And now, if you want to be you want to judge me or you don't like me for whatever reason, that's fine. But uh, it's really important not to care. Yeah, it is. So let's get back to this. I just had to open the window here. Right now I'm in heaven, right? Can you guys see if you're watching the video, right? Let's get back to this now. And with the South Node here in the 10th house, somebody could return from the past. This is about the past as well. Somebody can return from the past, Sagittarius. They can, especially with Venus there. Yeah. And so this South Node too, you could be letting go of things you could be stop worrying because Virgo can be about overly discerning. Yeah, Virgo wants things to be a-okay. Like, right? Virgo is the kind of the pros and cons, the person who really kind of invented the pros and cons list, right? Which will really make you worry because there's always one more con usually, or they're neck and neck, things like that. So you could be leaving these worries behind, or just over it. Maybe you were being critical in some part of your life, and you're like, I'm not doing that anymore, right? It could be even self-criticism because of, yeah, it could be. But you look like you're leaving worries behind, or you're leaving the past behind in general. And that past could have been whatever it is. It could have been related to how you work or how people see you, or just, yeah, um, things like that. Yeah, exactly. And even your social status. Your social status can be like, well, like, I don't care how they classify me. Yeah, like that. All right. So let's look here. And Sagittarius, Venus is opposing the North Node of Fate. So here's the North Node, here's Venus, and here is the North Node here. And we can see the opposition right now. So when we're looking at that opposition, where am I on here? This is about learning hard lessons, Sagittarius, that have to do with achievement and self-love. Yeah, that's a trip. Yeah, because this is saying step into your true purpose. Yeah, step into your higher self for sure it is. Something old about you is changing, Sagittarius. That's really a good thing. Remember I said you have the South Node here. Something old is changing, like it's going away. And this can be related to those lessons that you're learning. It can be wounds and fear are just kind of abandoned, right? You're just like, I'm not, I don't pay attention to that. That's of the past. Uh, and you could be really looking at life more pragmatically, but in a good way, right? Not this overly overthinking and worry about stuff like that. There could be, and this could be also helping you with the South Node conjunct, right here, um, conjunct Saturn. This could be helping you to be more serious and committed to your higher purpose. Yeah. And Venus too. Venus can also have to do with the money that you earn. Yeah, excuse me. Your finances. So you really could be kind of, maybe you had this attitude about money that was kind of hindering you, right? South Node with Venus, kind of maybe a little bit of a negative. Maybe you worry about money. Maybe you're not doing that anymore. That's highly interesting. Yeah. And so it's terrible to worry about money, or, yeah, it is, right? And so don't watch the news, all right? Because if you watch the news, it's just, yeah, a lot of fear mongering going on, right? Yeah, that's what I feel like it is. Um, mhm. So let's see what else we have. Your ruler Jupiter Sagittarius is in your eighth house. And this is the eighth house of intimate relationships. It's shared monies. And it can also be about family here because it is in Cancer. Shared monies, this could be the money that you earn even because somebody's writing your check or sending you the money or cash apping you money, whatever, however you make your money, right? Jupiter is here in that shared resources house, right? This could be helping you to make more money, Sagittarius. It can. There could be a lot of nurturing with family right now with Jupiter in Cancer. That's always a good thing, isn't it? Yeah. Um, yeah, and you could also, but this is supporting your emotional security. I feel like it is, yeah. Because Cancer is about emotional security as well, and Jupiter is here. That's a good thing. Mars is in your 12th house of limitations and endings, Sagittarius. So this is helping you to have courage to let something go. Um, yeah, maybe to overcome your doubts and fears as well. Lilith, Black Moon Lilith is here as well. This can be I think I talked about this in another sign, but Black Moon Lilith is, it's your shadow side. So you could be really seeing what that is, especially in the 12th house of undoing. You could be seeing how you have been maybe sabotaging. That's kind of a strong word, but or hindering yourself, right? Maybe you've done that in the past and like, I'm not doing that anymore. Right. And, sabotage or, kind of self hindrance can be from worry. If you are constantly worried, or, if you're in that lower energy, then that can easily that can help you to sabotage yourself, right? I don't call that a helping, but it definitely can. You're seeing something about yourself, especially in the 12th house, because this is the 12th house of unconscious patterns where we're able to see those patterns that are hidden about ourself. Yeah, really interesting. And Mercury is helping you do it right here. You could be actually in the 12th house. Mercury in Scorpio in the 12th house. Your psychic abilities could be really high right now, Sagittarius. Yeah, they could. Um, mm-hmm. And so you have a new beginning. I feel like you have some type of a new beginning, Sagittarius. It's also possible here that you are showing up in your relationships differently, stronger. Um, and Mercury is there to actually support that transformation. Yeah, to make you very aware of yourself. All right. Aware of this maybe undoing or whatever you were doing. Yeah, it's possible here. And this is also the 12th house of creativity. Your creativity could be higher. The Pisces rules the 12th house. Compassion, creativity, um, yeah, and even healing. That could be here. Maybe you are healing something, and you're understanding how to do it with Mercury there. Yeah, interesting. All right, so let's talk about Capricorn now. And Capricorn, the full moon is in your fourth house of home and family. This is the physical abode, it can be, and your emotional security. So here is the full moon in a very important house because we always have the 10th house opposing it, and the 10th house is another angular house. These are the most important houses. The 10th house, your 10th house is ruled by Venus, which is really good in my opinion, because Venus can be about money, and your 10th house is about your achievement and your social status, right? Yeah, so the sun is yeah, as I said, in another angular house, and the moon is in Aries. This is the sign of self, and the sun in Libra. So uh, this here for you, Capricorn. Um, yeah, there is a merging here, right? And so, and this here, Aries is over here, Libra's over here. Libra is the partner, or the relationship. Aries is the self. Um, And so, yeah, that's interesting how that is happening in your fourth and your 10th houses. This is really important here. It is. And so there's something that is changing for you, Capricorn. Um, And so, yeah, this can also be about close relationships. It's a possibility here with Libra. Um, and so the full moon for you is a necessary merging of your emotional and your emotional life or your private life and your career. There's a little bit of challenge there. There is a little bit of tension or how people see you or how they classify you in the world to create balance um, between the two, right? There's something in you or something very personal that can be revealed during this lunation. Yeah, definitely. You might need to take charge in a certain part of your life, especially when we have the 10th house, highlighted here. Um, and Aries. Yeah, there could be something that you need to take charge of here. Maybe that has to do with work or your private life or the blending, the merging of them. Saturn is, your natal Saturn is conjunct the North Node. Here's Saturn, and it is conjunct. Um, and, this is really good. I believe it's good here. And this is wanting to make your dreams come true here. Saturn in Pisces. And Saturn in Pisces is giving you the seriousness that you need. Although Capricorns don't usually need that, but it's giving structure also to your dreams or your projects could definitely be. Um, and so this is helping you, though, kind of reach your true potential. Not kind of, it's helping you. Saturn right here is supporting. It's still in a loose conjunction here, supporting the North Node of Fate. This is our higher selves and what our soul really wants for us. Yeah. You could be achieving something as well right here. You could be doing that. Um, yeah, and that's in your third house. That's really interesting. Now we are talking about the North Node and the South Node. The moon is down here in the fourth, but in the third house is the house of the mind. This could be creative kind of projects with Pisces here. Um, yeah, and so the South Node is down here, Capricorn in your ninth house. Yeah, you need to let things go that no longer serve your beliefs. Yeah, or what you believe in, what you feel like is meaningful, right? Yeah, you need to leave those things behind. Um, yeah, very interesting there. And maybe your beliefs, are changing, and that they're helping you to leave the past behind by doing that. The past, whatever past everybody has a past, right? Yeah, whatever past you may be thinking about or dwelling on, or even if you're not doing that, this is helping you to leave things behind that have to do with like your beliefs and your philosophy. Yeah, or you could be leaving things behind here that are no longer meaningful to you. Yeah. And your discernment is really helping here. And if you are, if yeah, all right. So let's see what else we have, Capricorn. And the third house too, is where you are processing your information over here, where we have the Saturn, the conjunct the North Node. This can be about your plans and goals here, Capricorn. Your conversations with people, maybe paperwork, or this can, anything that has to do important paperwork, most likely, because the North Node is here, I believe. But this is also, the third house is also your house of local environment, the neighborhood and siblings. It's everything that you take for granted or you're familiar with, right? Mm-hmm. And you could be maybe traveling, taking a short trip here when we have Saturn with the North Node. You might be doing that here. Whatever plans and goals you have right here, Capricorn, Neptune is there also too. It's conjunct the South Node. This is adding in the fourth house. Interesting. Maybe self-nurturing. The fourth house is about nurturing, but adding the compassion that you need and the creativity and like the belief that things can work out for me. The belief. Neptune is about believing that all is possible. Yeah. And so very idealistic, but in a good way when we see Saturn conjunct Neptune, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So um, yeah. And they are both retrograde. So Saturn is supporting your true potential, as I said, and Saturn wants you to be serious and committed to whatever that is. Oh, I feel like I mentioned that. And now we have Venus is also, where is Venus here? Here's little Venus here, and it is opposing. Oops. Venus is opposing Saturn. There can be doubts or challenges in relationships, possibly because of Venus here, or you need to create harmony. You feel like you need to create harmony within, or beauty possibly within your relationships, right? This can be about your approach to things, Capricorn. It doesn't always have to be a like an actual physical thing going on, or actual, you're doing something, and it just can be how you are processing it, or how you will show up, and how you approach, like your attitude for sure. And yeah, let's see here. And why is Venus so important, right? Venus is really important right now because we're in Libra season and Venus rules Libra. Yeah. Let's go ahead and refresh this. And you may need you might need a certain predictability in your relationships, Capricorn. You could with Saturn here, because, let's see here, because Libra is Venus. Venus is in your, I believe your ninth house. Yeah, your ninth house, but Venus is about your relationships. You might need a certain predictability, right? You could, um, and a practicality, but also a need for spiritual connection, because we have Venus here and it is opposing Saturn, but the North Node, and this is in Pisces, right, which is about our intuition, trusting it. And, it really is about surrendering to divine wisdom and knowing that all is well. Yeah. And that's why Pisces wants to always believe something is very good. Something can work out, that dream can come true, which is a good way. It's a good way. But, sometimes Pisces can get a little too much into the fantasy, right? Where things are not, so realistic. But we have, Saturn here and Neptune are together, and so they are supporting one another, bringing the fantasy, the imagination, the creativity, and the belief, that all can be well, right? With Saturn's structure and commitment. Yeah, very good. So now we have Venus, and it is sextiling Jupiter, and so here we see Jupiter, right? And Jupiter, what house is Jupiter in for you? But there is. Let's see, where it is. Let's go ahead over here. And so we have the ninth house is for Libra. I mean Virgo. It's in your seventh house of relationships. Wow. That's very good here. There's a potential for harmony and joy within your relationships. Also, maybe with your finances, you might be feeling, your finances can improve, or just feeling a little bit better about them. Venus is about money and, what makes us comfortable in life. And so here we have, Jupiter here, in your seventh house of relationships. They could be very favorable here. This could be saying, nurture your relationships. You're going to have an opportunity to do that. A sextile is an opportunity. We have to see them. A lot of people never see the opportunity that is there. That's why it's always good to be, um, just calm within yourself, right? And so you might have good luck here. You could have good luck to meet somebody, good luck with money. And even maybe with family members, there could be a lot of nurturing here. It's possible here. And this sextile can bring you good luck, Capricorn. This can be a social time, and you might be feeling a certain popularity. All right, I'll have to call my Capricorn friend today, right? So let's move on to Aquarius, and this is all happening in your third house. And here you are, Aquarius. The third house is the house of the mind. It's the house of the familiar, the neighborhood, the local environment. It is how we process our information as well. So that's quite different from the local environment, right? Um, and the local environment is related to, short distance travel. It can be the community. And the third house is about learning. It is of the mind, right? The third house of the mind, it's always going to be about learning to some degree. Um, yeah, and so yes, and so this is, yeah, in that house. You could be traveling though, Aquarius, or taking a short trip, and this trip can reveal something to you. Yeah, with this full moon, because the full moon, usually illuminates. If we are awake, right? We can't be asleep though, right? If you're entirely asleep, you kind of miss the show, right? Have you ever thought about that in life? Well, I just missed that whole thing. That was a blur, right? Well, this is kind of like that as well. You could be studying or learning something new, and there can be something going on right now, Aquarius, during Libra season, possibly that is sibling or with family, extended family or siblings. And the sun is in your house of philosophy, beliefs, growth, and expansion. Here it is. This is the ninth house for you. And that is the house of Sagittarius, although Venus rules your ninth house here. So the sun is here in that house. This is also about long distance travel. You could be traveling, yeah, publishing and teaching. This is your house of higher purpose. Yeah, this is the house where you want your life to have growth and expansion and meaning. Yeah, the sun is asking you to see, because the sun could be asking you to see that possibility. What is meaningful to you? This can be about how you relate to others because it's in Libra, or your relationships, right? And your approach to those could, sorry, you guys, bring you growth and expansion, right? And now we have Mars, the ruler of the full moon. It's in your house of career and social status, giving you the courage and drive, Aquarius, related to these 10th house themes. And this is also your house of commitment. All right, Aquarius, let's continue here. And so Mars is in Scorpio. Here is Mars right here. We've been talking about Mars all day. In case you have watched any other of the signs, you should be watching your sun, moon, and rising. It does help. It really does to understand, what's going on between the three of them. And so Mars is in Scorpio. You could be working or studying the occult. It's a possibility here. Now, Mars and Scorpio, this is in your 10th house. So this is why I'm saying you could be working in the occult. This can be also like working as a detective, your career, you're choosing maybe, criminal justice, or where you really want to see what's underneath, like really what's kind of being hidden, right? With criminals, right? Right. And so maybe you're studying the occult, astrology, or even tarot. Could be anything really, but with Mercury, anything that has to do with what is kind of not being seen, right? Also, Scorpio can be about money, and this can be too. You are studying like financial planning. Yeah, you could be doing that. Financial planning is, Scorpio is about financial planning, but this seventh, in the 10th house, yeah, it could be your work as well, right? Like your career. And you could be honestly right here, you could be really seeing things right now that were hidden to you, Aquarius, like just maybe patterns about yourself. Your intuition can be really high. People with Mercury in Scorpio in their chart, they tend to be intuitives, psychics, detectives, and I have that, right? And that's what I'm doing, of course. And my friend is a huge, I mentioned this in another, for another sign too, but my friend is a store detective. It's not a store, it's a company detective where she is able to see what, they're extorting and, all this stuff, right? Um, and all the stealing that is going on. And yeah, and so she wants to see what is hidden as well. That's what that's about. Okay, and Chiron is asking you to Aquarius is asking you to heal something. Here is Chiron right here, and it is opposing Mercury. So here we have it. And this could be asking you to kind of heal something or let something go that is hindering you in some way, right? This can simply be the way you are thinking about something. So it's in your third house. This is the house of thinking. It's in Aries, but Aries is the self. So maybe you have some negative thoughts about yourself that you really need to let go. The opposition is about change and kind of merging what needs to be merged, but it's a challenge. And so, this healing needs to be, something needs to be healed here. And you may very well be doing that, right? Especially when you have Mercury in this very psychic, Scorpio, right? You could, it's a possibility here. Everybody has it in Scorpio, but um, this could be hindering you with your work, though, because this is the 10th house of career and social status. Yeah. This can also be about you maybe are feeling funny or, about how people are classifying you, right? So you guys, how people are seeing you or what they say about you or things like that. So Aquarius is already, it's a very unique and authentic sign. Yeah. And, some people may want to say, eccentric or whatever they want to say. I once heard two astrologers a long time ago like criticizing Aquarius. I was like, wow, are you trying to like not get followers here? What's going on here? Yeah, I would never say who they were. Actually, she's very nice, so I thought that was really out of character for her. But yeah, and so there could be maybe you are kind of, because this is an Aries too, Chiron, so there could be something like you're kind of sensitive to the way people think about you, possibly, right? And and I have two initials for that, WC. Who cares? Yeah, who cares about what others think? It's about what you think of yourself. Yeah, it sure is. So now we have um now we have Uranus and it is sextiling Neptune. Let's have a look at that. Um, and here's Uranus. So a sextile is an opportunity, but we have to see them. There's plenty of opportunities that show up in our chart, but sometimes we don't see them, sometimes we don't want to see them, or we feel like it's not the right time to act on these opportunities, right? So here we have Uranus with this sextile to Neptune. Neptune is in Aries. Mm-hmm. Um, mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is in your Uranus is in your fifth house of self-expression. It can be a house of love, it can be love and romance and pleasure, creativity that is associated with self-expression. You're probably expressing yourself differently here in some way, or you have the opportunity to do that, and maybe this is related to maybe creative projects, but let's see what I have kind of noted here. This is creating new opportunities for yourself, Aquarius. This could also be breakthroughs, spiritual breakthroughs, because this is Neptune and Uranus, and both of them are spiritual. Uranus, it has its own type of way, as does Neptune. Yeah, it's very interesting. And so while Neptune is adding imagination and creativity and a vision, and this also, very spiritual, a vision and intuition, right? Adding the intuition, you could experience a new understanding maybe about yourself because it's in Aries. Um, yeah, about how you a new understanding, maybe about how you think about yourself, possibly, and a spiritual one that pushes you to take action and have courage to step into possibly like a new you. Yeah, it's really interesting there. So now we're going to go to Pisces. And Pisces, this is happening in your second house of finances. Where are you, Pisces? Over here. Here's your second house. This is the house of money. It is one of the houses. There are a couple. And but this is the house of money and the second house. And so this is also your house of well-being and self-esteem. Yeah, it is. This is about your possessions and financial stability as well. So let's look at that right now. And this full moon is really good for you. This is happening here in your second house, as I've said, and Chiron is here. Maybe you are kind of healing something, Pisces, about your attitude with money. That could be happening here. Your self-esteem can be improving, could be related to many things, possibly. Um, yeah, maybe were a little emotional here about your own stability. or maybe even money. As I was saying, everybody has a relationship with money, they do, or with their well-being. Yeah, definitely. I feel like you are, there's some, your self-esteem is increasing or like improving. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so now we have, yeah, you could be taking control of your financial matters here because it's in Aries. Aries wants to take control and, get it done and, do new things and conquer it basically. And so your confidence is increased. This is what I was saying. But Saturn is conjunct your natal Neptune. Here's Saturn in your sign. And you might be getting serious about your long-term goals and your true potential or your higher purpose. You could be doing that right now. It's always a good thing. I just spoke to a Piscean, and that is what she was exuding, really, or, communicating to me, right? Basically. And I was like, oh, that's great, right? The sun is in your house of intimate relationships and shared monies. Now, shared monies, Pisces, can be anything. It could be your 401k, it could be mutual funds, stocks, inheritances, the money you make with your boss as well, because they have to write the check, right? So the company or whoever it is, that is in your eighth house here. And yeah, and so where is that? That is, I beg your pardon, that's right up here in your sign, conjuncting Saturn. Yeah, helping you to achieve that, your higher purpose. You're seeing something here, but you're seeing, I feel like you're seeing could be seeing your life purpose here, or the work that maybe you really want to do, or the person you really want to step into and be. And Saturn is there to support you. Yeah, giving you like the structure that you need. And, I see your sign here, and that is conjunct, which is, teaming up together basically. But here we have Neptune and Saturn, and this is, my dreams can come true. My dreams can come true if I am committed. Yeah, if I'm serious. And Saturn is bringing structure to the dreams, and Neptune is bringing the imagination, the creativity, and the intuition. It's a great partnership right there. I feel like it is. All right, and the sun is down here in this house of, I don't know how we got off that. Oh, in Libra, in your house of intimate relationships. They're favored right now. Your intimate relationships, any type of intimate relationship, really, but it's usually, romantic, but it can be other relationships as well. Um, but usually romantic, right? Or somebody you could be also have an intimate relationship really with your financial planner. You could, and why do I say that? Because they're handling very, private details about you, right? Intimate that nobody else knows about, all the money you're making or money you might have over here, maybe money stashed or money you've just come into, just things like that that you don't share with just friends every day. You don't share what, maybe you just share that with your financial planner. All right. And the eighth house can show you what was hidden. The sun is here in the eighth house, can show you what was hidden until now about relationships. It can show you the deep patterns that maybe you didn't realize about yourself, possibly. And Mars is the ruler of, yeah, and this could be also, Pisces, you could be changing a little bit about how you show up in relationships. You could. The sun could be showing you something here that is important for you. Could be. And Mars, the ruler of the full moon, is in your house of beliefs. This is faith and philosophy, expansion and growth. Here's Mars in your ninth house. This is the house that Sagittarius rules. Yours is ruled by Mars, and that's okay because it's how it is. Not everybody has their ninth house in, only Aries really would have their ninth house in Sagittarius, because Aries is the only sign, starts with the first sign, move to the ninth, and it would be right here when we start with Aries. So Aries is the only sign out of the 12 that has the natural house. If your rising sign is Aries, then, then you should be watching the Aries, right? The Aries. But let's get back to this because I don't know if I'm explaining that really well. But Aries starts with the first house, and all these other houses are, sequential, right? So we can um, see what's happening in those houses. It's just easier for Aries because of the natural chart. Okay, so this can be And this Mars is in your ninth house of expansion and growth. I feel like you're growing, Sagittarius, Pisces, sorry. Your beliefs can be changing. You could be learning about deep psychological issues, maybe that you've been carrying around because your ninth house is in a very psychic house. Yeah, a very psychic sign, I should say. Yeah, Sagittarius is also, about the higher realms, and that has to do with your intuition and things like that. Of course, it does. So now we have, and this can be a major time of growth for you. Mercury is in your ninth house. Mercury is the sign of intelligence here. You could be really looking at things, kind of studying things or understanding things, perhaps. This is about the way you think and how you process information. This can also be about plans and goals. It definitely can. Mercury is in your ninth. Um, you might have, newer plans and goals that are possibly seeing that you want something more meaningful in your life. Yeah, it's a conversation I had with a Piscean today as well. Yeah, right. Yeah, and so this is my daughter who is, said the same thing to me. I want something more meaningful, and I'm like, okay, that's great, right? Uh, which is interesting because, I waited to hear her say that. So I'm very happy with that, right? And sometimes, so if you think that people cannot grow and, and gee, I'm really worried about so and so, give them a chance. Everybody grows in this life. Yeah, everybody does. It just depends on when, right? So we see Mercury in your ninth house, really good for your growth and your expansion, Pisces. It is in your forward movement. And so Jupiter is your natal planet. This is your ancient planet, ancient ruling planet, I should say. It's in your house of love, pleasure. This is in your fifth house of love and pleasure and children and self-expression and creativity. And so this is the house of being basically authentic and kind of wanting to be seen as well. Um, and so Jupiter is there, and this is bringing you good luck here. And, um, and Jupiter's going to be there until June, the end of June, June 30th next year. So you have a lot of time still with that good luck there, right? And helping you grow, really, helping you grow either in relationships or in your own self-expression. I feel like you are, it seems, Pisces, that this is all good. That's how it seems for you, right? And this Jupiter in Cancer can help improve family matters. It can. There could be a lot of nurturing going on with family, or maybe a tribe in case you don't have family, right? Your best buds and the people you really identify with. It can be your tribe, and Jupiter will help you expand this part of your life and bring meaning. But be mindful though, Pisces, because this is your planet as well, Jupiter. But Jupiter can bring like an overindulgence. Jupiter wants things to be big and expansive. So we have to be a little careful not to go overboard, right? And um, sometimes put all your eggs in one basket or overindulge in something. And so that is in your fifth house. This could be a lot of love, a lot of love and pleasure here, having fun possibly. But for some of you, you may really need that. So, uh, you know, yeah, so we have some squares here, and so we have some, but Jupiter is also sextiling Venus here, and this is in your seventh house. Beautiful. So when we see Jupiter, Venus sextiling Jupiter, this is in your seventh house. Venus loves to be in the seventh house, although it doesn't care for Virgo too much here because Virgo is overly discerning, and Venus is, about love and beauty. Also about money. You could be making more money possibly here, right? But I feel like the key here is to be yourself, and your relationships could, you could be really good. This could be good luck in your relationships. All right, I'm going to end this. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for joining me here. Please like, share, and subscribe. It does help me to keep these coming, and it's going to help me reach 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, that is the goal. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining me here, and God bless. Yeah.